Ooh. Yeah. What is that? Circa 1996
I want to say,
Metallica.
yep, '96. That was when they all cut their hair, and it was a big. All the
Everybody
metal
got
loving fans were
everybody
crushed.
got a nose ring.
They all got butthurt. I've never seen metal fans get so butthurt before for somebody for cutting their hair. Jesus Christ.
I think he got a lot of flack. What's the lead singer's name? Oh my god, I should know this.
James Hetfield.
Hetfield got a bunch of crap for shopping on like Fifth Avenue or something like that,
I
and
saw that picture. Yes.
yeah, and people were just like, "For real, bro, you know, it's only jeans, leather, and that's it, bro."
Leather, denim. I don't know. What
But
would you
I'm gonna
call it?
tell you right now,
Yeah.
old rock stars. Okay,
Okay.
as you get old, your ass gets fatter. I don't know if
I,
anybody told anybody. Your feet swell, and I'm gonna tell you, rocking cowboy boots up into your 70s and
mm-hmm.
wearing tight jeans. And for those that don't know, I know you're still in your dirty
30s.
30s. You're in your dirty 30s. I'm in my flirty 40s.
Okay.
Things fall down. Gravity takes its toll.
I think we've all seen Vince.
Right now,
Who,
as we have tight jeans, those things start going where your coins are. Where your keys are. So you may go to grab something and you can't pull anything anymore real
that's
quickly.
not change. Yeah.
No, it is a surgical procedure to make sure you go in there and you don't pull out something you don't need for later. So yeah, just kind of throwing that out there. So
I think
yeah, we're back with another episode of the Nissan Nerd Podcast. Doing it for you right here on the top side. Make sure to tip your waitresses and your bartenders. We're gonna be doing it for you right here. Coming to the stage, we got Candy, Loose Morals, and all. Boom Boom Hour right here at you, gentlemen. Just
I'm sorry, man. I still like that so much. It hasn't gotten
still
old.
Boom Boom Hour. Yeah, well, everybody likes a deal.
Everybody
So
in this economy, yes.
in this deal, yeah, in this economy, everybody likes a deal.
Woo. Now don't take a drink yet, man. We got a compi coming up. But let me go ahead and.
Daddy's just prepping. Daddy's just prepping.
Okay,
All right,
good.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Okay,
shut up. Go.
okay. While you are preparing your drink, let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Thank you for being here with us online, and for those of you listening with us, this is the Nissan Nerd Podcast. My name is Mike DeLashmutt. Of course, pouring that tall one there is Miles Hall. On this episode, we're gonna be talking about Nissan unveiling plans to produce a prototype battery that they are saying is game changing. We're talking about that. We're going to congratulate Senior Vice President of Global Design Alfonso Albaisa for receiving an award recently from Newsweek. And we've got a really good back alley chat coming on. We're going to ask, could the effects of the global material shortages delay your project car, the build, whatever you got going on? We're going to talk about how it's affecting you as an enthusiast. All here on the Nissan Nerd Podcast coming up.
Wow, I feel like we
Yeah.
peaked before we did the intro.
Well, sometimes we're
Sometimes it's all foreplay.
right out the chute, man. We are out. We're good. We're doing great.
Foreplay. That's
It's,
it. As soon as
so,
we unzip, it's all just go home. Netflix and
it's like
cuddle. It's more like it.
yeah. we peaked in the first couple seconds there. Oh my god. Let's not jinx
Peaking.
ourselves.
We're not
Yeah.
premature peaking. Yeah, we're
Now let's not jinx ourselves. I think we got a really good show planned here. I know we've been
yeah,
working on it.
we put some actual effort in this time. Just kidding. We put effort in.
Oh yeah, man.
So,
Fatality.
all right. So we got a lot to cover this time, but before we do, let's obviously we do the catch-up game. So we've been both hard at work on our own independent projects.
Yes.
I know you're still trying to get your right-hand drive 300ZX up and going, and we live in Texas, and I know the AC was a deal for you. So I figure you didn't want to melt into your Z seats. So tell
Yeah.
me you fixed your AC finally.
Right, right. So yeah, just like you mentioned, the 300ZX is kind of taking a back seat just temporarily because I'm
Oh.
trying to set up the 350 right now. It is my daily driver, so you are right. It's getting hot. AC. First time I tried to use it this season, nope, not working. So um, it includes an entirely new AC. I mean, all the components you need for a nice, fresh AC system. Got that taken care of. I actually took some pictures here, man. I was actually pretty proud of myself, and I'll tell you why.
Uh-oh.
This happened here this last weekend, though. But AC compressor. Again, we're just doing this in the front yard, though. AC compressor, not the hardest thing in the world. Seemed pretty well. The real pain was actually getting underneath that dash to replace an expansion valve. That was a day on its own. I did that actually last weekend, and then here this last Saturday, the AC condenser is right in between the radiator and the radiator support, and it just so happens my existing radiator support was it's just trash, man. It's got beat up. So I said, you know what? While I'm at it, I'm going to replace it all. So I've got a nice fresh radiator support to go along with it. And you can see here a few pictures. Of course, the whole front end's coming off, man. Headlights, front bumper, intake, oil cooler, all that's coming out. Just car looked like I could have just parted it out, man. It actually wasn't as hard as I thought. This was my first time tearing apart the front end
Well,
of the
it all
350.
just bolts on and bolts off. It's these days it's super simplistic and it's made to kind of with composite front ends. It's I know it's that design. So when you get into the body shop industry, a lot of that stuff is made to be bolt on, bolt off, which is super nice because you don't have to weld in those structures anymore,
Yeah,
and they have enough strength and lightness. First off, they're light, and the other thing is they have that strength that makes them actually a structural part of the vehicle that's bolt in, bolt out, which is
yeah.
super nice. And the aligning, you don't really need to mess with all that getting it right
Hmm.
because gapping and all those things are so important to getting that vehicle to line up right. But I want to ask you to go back real quick.
Sure, sure, sure. What do you got?
Now I noticed that all your stuff is scattered, and then there's some felines in the background. And I just want to let you know, for those that don't know, this is exactly how dealerships do the same job with cats and all. It's two cats for every 200 booked labor hours. So it's yeah, for those that don't know, so those cats are actually
Yeah,
on the job at this
they
time.
are.
So,
They are. I It's funny, I've never owned a cat. The cats have owned me. These are the street cats that just kind of show up, and you just kind of decide when you're at the grocery store to, maybe I should get a little can of cat food, and like it
oh, is that what
just
you did?
it just happens. Yeah, it just kind of happens. You don't really
You
plan
just
on
rent.
it.
So every time you do a car job, you just buy a can of cat food just in case.
No, no. Well, the, the,
I'm
the
trying to be
cats
cute
came
here.
way before came in. They came into play way before the
Oh,
job, but they were
they're
actually pretty.
squatters. I got you.
Yes. Well, what's funny. You know, I'm underneath the car focusing, trying to get something done, and then of course the cats they don't care what you're doing.
No, no.
All they know is that your attention is not devoted to them. Yeah, so they're just looking, crawling all over you, asking you what's going on, pretty
Hey,
much.
what's up, buddy?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
that looks
what are
loose.
you
Oh,
looking at?
that's not torque. That's not torque to spec. Uh, just all right. Well, long story short, you got it all fixed.
All taken care of, man. I
Good
am
job.
a
So
nice,
no
cool
more.
42 degrees inside. I got proof right there. Oh yeah.
Oh, no more back sweat for you, my friend.
Nope.
Kudos.
We're getting ready. Yeah, we're having a nice road trip coming up. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's ready for the road trip, Miles. That's the reason why I was
Oh,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Now we got our upcoming trip that we are planning as a group. That's me, Mike, and Ion, who's our uh, IT boy, who is
Hmm.
going to be also going with us to Branson this year. So we're all kind of getting our cars together,
Yep.
getting ready for that cruise. Who knows? It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
So let me see here. Getting to me, yeah, I was also kind of a
Yes.
little busy here. I am. I've had this 620 project for a while, and this was just a parts car vehicle that I bought really for like scrap. panels, like extra doors and stuff that I was sending
It
off
had
to
an
Cap.
engine, right? Didn't you take the engine off of it?
Yeah, I got an engine. It's in a box or it's in the shed. It's in next to the other 40 engines in the shed these days.
There you go.
But with this one, I actually wanted to do something that I haven't seen in a while, and I was actually wanting to do a trailer project. So basically, you take the entire frame, you chop off the front, get rid of all the hangers and everything, and you start to pie cut it to get everything to weld it all together. So basically started off with that, and yes, I was too lazy to get underneath it to pull the drive shaft off. Go mind your own business. Quite honestly, this was in a field, and I didn't feel like getting under it just yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started doing my pie cuts, and then
Pretty clean.
basically, they're not bad. It took a while, and so I'm there. I ordered the last pieces that I need, and then I'll just kind of make sure everything's straight and true, weld it all together. I'll probably
hmm
pull the axle off and do like a what is called a dump axle or a straight axle, and then keep a six lug, and then pretty much make that sucker towable behind my 620, my Frontier. So when we do these long trips, it's kind of nice. We got all the tools in the back. We
hmm
got us an extra carry along for all the luggage. I don't know, just kind of nice. But if it ever goes off a cliff,
Yeah.
I only, I only got $300 in it, so sure,
that's
why not? You guys
that's
might have a lot of money in the
that's
luggage,
all
but
you can ask for right there, man. That's a. I almost bought one. There was one that was for sale, and I'm talking years ago, and I almost regret not doing it. But dude, yours come out really together. I really like
I
how
got almost nothing in it. Yeah, it's kind of cool because you can take the insides, and for those that don't know, you could take the Nissan like the Frontier track system. You know, the where the cleats and all the really cool stuff. One of the best things I love about the Nissan Frontiers is, and some of the other Nissan trucks is that the tracking system. I still think it's a really, really good option
uh,
that we had on all those vehicles. So you
yeah.
could take that system, and a lot of it just bolts in. You got to obviously reinforce it, but that's the
hmm
game plan. Is that, and then of course I made a fiberglass top for it a while back. So
Yeah.
I just took an old fiberglass Lear top that I bought for $25, and I'm just kind of modifying it all. So yeah, it's an old 1960 20s trailer, you
hmm
know, and that's the whole thing. Modify something, make it cool. And then, if somebody
Yeah.
needs to borrow it, take it, whatever. I mean, it's not going to break my heart.
Two
So,
questions for
anyway,
you.
yeah, what do
I,
you got?
I got two questions. One is, where are your cats? How many cats came to your project?
I don't need cats to do my job. I'm a self-service man.
So,
Nobody loves me. Nobody supports me. It's all on these strong boulder-like shoulders that
boulder like
make that
shoulder.
job happen.
Second
Cannon
question.
balls.
How sketchy was it trying to put these pieces of frame together with a ratchet strap? That looks like a Harbor Freight ratchet strap.
It
Not
is
the
for
strongest thing in the
mock-up.
world.
It is for mock-up, and
Okay.
Harbor Freight has never made anything that's ever failed.
you know, it hasn't
Never.
failed me. I've heard
Don't
stories,
even
but
look
you're
it
right.
up.
They've never
Don't
failed
even
me.
bother looking it up on the internet because it's all fake news. Nothing has ever failed from Harbor Freight. Anything.
Right?
Anything.
You failed them, is what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
You just didn't go back and buy the same thing over again. You were working it too hard. That's what happened. So, all right. Moving
Moving
along, we got
on.
a lot to cover
Yes.
here in this episode. But before that, we got
Yeah.
to do a couple things. We
Yep.
got to give a shout out to our homies who are online with us here tonight.
Yeah.
I'll let you go for it.
Go for it. All right. Yeah, I'm looking online here. We've got quite a few with us. Again, thanks for being here. Throughout the show, feel free to make comments into the notes here on we're on Facebook
Tasteful
Live.
comments, ladies and
Tasteful.
gentlemen.
This is a PG show. No,
Yeah, yeah,
we,
yeah.
we we can see the comments as we go, and what we like to do is go, of course, share them with everybody. We'll pick and choose a few of them along the way. So again, thank you for being here. Tell your friends about us. Tell your friends. Tell your mother. Tell your friends' mothers.
Whoa, whoa,
All
whoa.
of that. There you go. The
All right, but
second
yeah,
thing, yes.
oh yeah,
Second
we
thing
got
we
a
like.
combine.
Yes, we do. You're absolutely right. Okay, you have your drink ready. I think I do as well. Again, for those of you that are with us online, take out what you have. Let's go ahead and get this going.
Mm.
You want to do the honest miles?
I do. Give a salute to those in the Nissan family who we wish good health, and to those that we may have lost, we hope we are reminded of you often.
All right.
Kanpai.
Kanpai. Ooh. Mm.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Grandpa's cough medicine. All right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we got work to do. All right. First up, we are going to go straight into news today, and we're going to let the man himself, Mike D, go ahead and jump into it. You got the first article, Mike D, come up. I know
Let's
you've
do it.
been super excited to talk about this one. Drop the bomb on him.
Let's go for it. All right. So when I was researching stories this last week, this was a story that kept on popping up. I found multiple articles from multiple outlets on the same thing. And I'm not talking about some kind of build or anything that you see on social media. These came from some pretty hardcore industries. And what I'll allude to here, it has to do with EV technology. So let me share my screen, and this is what we're talking about. There you go. Nissan unveils a prototype production facility for all solid state batteries. I think they call them specifically laminated all solid state batteries, which is very very new. Of course, in the EV world, everybody is vying to really get the market share. It's something that's still relatively new. There's a lot of advances to be made, and Nissan recognizes this, and so they're doing some very aggressive things to actually really capture the market. And I'll explain here as part of this article. Essentially, they have a new prototype facility. It's located in Yokohama. It's part of their Nissan Research Center, and this is a pilot production line to develop all solid state batteries. Not like entirely; it's all solid state batteries. This facility will be launching in 2024. They not only are they looking into the assembly and manufacture of the battery, but also how it installs on a manufacturing line. They've learned from experience in this article. They say that even though the battery is perfect, it's how it's installed, on the production line into a vehicle that other issues come up. So they have got a lot of research to come. Ultimately, though, they want to bring this new battery into the EV market in 2028. Ultimately, it's going to replace the lithium-ion battery that you so often see in today's EVs. It's all part of the Nissan Ambition 2030 plan. I know, Miles, you and I, we've talked about it
Yeah.
pretty often, actually. And
Well,
essentially,
it's big news, I mean, to have innovation like that coming and to have a plan. I mean, all companies have a plan, but again, it's ambitious, which is why it's called the ambitious 2030 plan. But
I didn't even
it's
plug
not
that.
just a
Wow.
fancy name. Oh, come on.
It
It's,
is. Yeah.
but I mean, it started off with simplicity. Developing the new models, and then it started going into okay, plans for success for the futures, the innovations for the technologies. We're seeing it in the EDAM stuff. We're seeing it now with the way that they're putting money into certain industries, into certain parts of the world, in certain plants. We saw
Hmm.
this happening in the UK, where they were trying to get a better foothold in some other to
You're
develop the
right.
facilities to plan for the future. So this is already happening.
Yep.
It's not just something that we're going to see. So you can already see this developing within Nissan, and
Yep.
you could see hints of it, if not the the footprint and the works, the process in the works as it is. So
They're
that's pretty
putting
cool.
down very heavy investment, and you're right. In the past, we've spoken about the Battery Development Center in the UK. So yeah, this is not just the first one. This is one of many already in process. You're
Oh,
absolutely right. Now, I kind of wanted to run off just a few of these benefits and why Nissan really is
hit me.
capturing
Come
this
on,
thing.
hit him.
I'm not.
Hit him.
Yeah.
Come
All right.
on.
So again, I'm not an expert on EV batteries, but let me tell you what does make sense to me here. Just imagine a battery that does today's work. It's half the size of what a typical battery is. It's also lighter than your typical lithium ion battery. It provides a longer range than a lithium ion battery. It can be fully charged in 15 minutes. Now,
Wow.
I know that's a huge one, too,
Well, no
in
more
my
sitting
opinion.
in the Costco parking lot playing on your phone, waiting for your Tesla to get you where you need to get. I mean, those days,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the silly thing. It's like if you see, uh, and I'm not talking trash. uh, on on those folks that have those vehicles. They're very cool. But I will say though that it does come with that. Like, do I really want to be that guy in that parking lot? Because I've driven through parking lots at night, like on my way to do some fun stuff, and I
Yeah.
look at those people, and it's kind of like the equivalent of like automotive panhandling. It's just like,
Ooh.
damn, can I borrow some charge, man? And it's just like they have to sit there and wait for their car to
Ah,
catch up to their level of fun. And
it's
me,
yeah.
I'm on this 93 octane kick, baby. Just boosting tonight. And that's
You're
it.
running and gunning, man. You're on
That's
that
it. That's how we
octane.
roll, you know.
Th-
But the point is, it's
mhm.
like I feel bad for those guys that are just kind of stuck there, and it just seems like it's great. It's super nice to be on the piercing end of the technology, but for me, it didn't make sense, especially with the cost effectiveness
Mhm.
and the the user effectiveness of it. It
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me. If anything, I mean, I don't know why I like the Leaf in that respect.
Hmm.
That it 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 challenged that a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't really go to bat in style on some other things. And
Yeah.
I'll give due where it's due. But a 15,
15-minute charge from
that's
a fully
ridiculous, dude.
charged.
That's
Yeah.
game changing.
That's
That is
exactly what they're
game
saying.
changing.
Yeah. And I
So I
really
mean, and let's wind that back. I mean,
okay.
what do we think? What is the standard charge right now for most vehicles? Charge full. What do we
Oh,
call
I
it?
mean, if
It's
they've got a
power.
wall charger at
Power.
home, it's overnight for one.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. I mean, the superchargers, the ones you're probably referring to
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some areas and parking lots. I would say, yeah, it's hours. I would say at least an hour. I mean, and people are. The thing is, though, they're not there trying to charge 100%. They're just trying to get enough to get them home in some cases. And that is kind of a sad for those who are in this transition time with those super long charge times. They're just kind of just there.
Imagine in 2040, we're gonna be looking back and like, Grandpa, you sat in a Costco parking lot for how long waiting for your car to charge?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy, homie. We have regenerative systems that just give it back, and it's
Oh,
just like,
it's
you
gonna be
know,
3 minutes, 5 minutes. It'll be
yeah,
just as long as it takes to fill
it's
up a
all
full tank
about.
of gas.
And I think it's and the natural element of it is the battery technology, and I
Hmm.
wish we kind of had somebody on, and God, I want to get a gentleman that you and I know and
Yeah.
love from Braille Battery to
Yeah.
really kind of get in and uber nerd out
I
about some
really
of this
want to.
stuff.
Yeah.
We have a friend named Mr. Savage
Yeah.
with Braille, who I would absolutely love to have on the show one of these days,
Yep.
and just super nerd out about batteries, man. But I apologize, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to take away from your fire because this is a super interesting article, and
Yeah.
it it has implications and applications that are going to be going on for the future. So we're going to be talking
Yeah.
about this 5 years
Much
from now on
more.
the Nissan Nerd podcast.
Absolutely. I've got more. I've got more though. Again.
All right, go ahead, go meow, meow. Right.
All right. All right. Now, again, it's a smaller footprint. It's lighter. Its charge is faster. It has a longer range. You can drive it longer ranges. Now, also comes down to price. They are actually ditching the use of rare materials, such in this case like cobalt, nickel. These are just examples that were used in these articles. So overall, it's a cheaper battery, and it's also comes from a more ethical, what they called a more ethical supply chain. Uh, Not only from a human rights perspective, you've seen how this works sometimes, like the lithium ion mines and things like that.
Yeah,
Lithium mines, I should say. Now, they did mention human rights improvements. You can say, in this case, international relations too, because when you have materials that aren't as rare, well, they're plentiful in this case, so you can get them from more places. It's not when you've got a certain international situations happening, you're not really held hostage at that point. And then also from an environmental perspective, they're being more considerate to the environment, using materials that are less harmful to pull from the earth, whatever materials that they are.
yeah,
So
yeah. I
those are
mean, the
some of the
thing about like
benefits.
with lithium ions, I like the mines. I mean, that's the crazy thing. I mean, these mines are usually in third world markets, and the crazy thing about lithium, the people that mine it are probably more relaxed because of
Mm.
the adverse effects of lithium. Just kind of super, just kind of groovy. But at the same time, they're being taken huge advantages. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Well, I
like
do know. And I do know that lithium is a finite element. It is
yes,
there is how to stop. So they're really trying to change. Just I mean, still so early in this whole situation, development of batteries. So I really think from Nissan, this is a huge, really good direction that they're going into, though. But about the production, I mentioned earlier, 2024 will be the piloting time for production and bringing this new battery to market in 2028. This is actually going to bring, if everything goes well, this is going to bring Nissan as the first to market versus their competitors by at least 2 years. These articles are saying,
wow,
which is a huge advantage. It brings Nissan to this huge advantage.
that's awesome, dude. No, I mean
Yep.
for real. I mean, I we had some good comments that were going on here.
Yes, we
We were
need to.
talking now. We talked about charging times. Frank dropped a note in here. Neighbor has a Polestar electric Volvo, and
Yeah.
it takes about 6 hours to get full charge, and that's the
Mm,
standard right now. I think he's right. Like I
yeah.
said, that's they're all battling these hours. It's kind of like miles per gallon. It's like who's getting the lowest charge time. And George chimed in. He said,
Hmm.
I've heard the batteries. This is years. In that regard, there has been one proposal that could work. Swap out the whole battery or just a booster battery to get you home. Just take
Mm,
10 minutes or less. I mean, the
interesting.
altered the altered direction of what you're trying to do, or the mechanics of getting what you need to accomplish. Yeah, yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, people are definitely trying a lot of stuff. I mean, people have been talking about platform swap stuff forever. Where the actual platform is the chassis, and then you just constantly change
Yeah.
out your body.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
We
that's been a situation too as well, where the batteries stay with the unit, and then you're just changing out your the platform at the
It's like an
dealership.
all-wheel. It's essentially like an all-wheel drive skateboard with a flat top, and you just change
Just
from
like a Hot
truck
Wheels,
to
you take the
sedan.
body off,
Yeah,
and you're just
take the rivets
yeah.
out. There you go. Yeah.
We were talking about
Hey, Miles, you there? Hey, I think you're talking so fast that your internet reception is slowing you down.
wow, the internet can't keep up with me.
Can't
Wow.
keep up with you, man.
All right. Well, I will slow it down. But interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, a great article, man. It definitely leaves a lot of food for thought on the table. So very cool.
It definitely does. I'm glad again, this article was so prominent through multiple channels, and obviously a huge, like I said earlier, a very ambitious jump for Nissan. So I do wish them luck on this, and I'm sure we'll hear more along the way. We'll be sure to keep things covered. Miles, you have an article, and it involved actually a friend of ours, Alfonso
Oh,
Albiasa, right?
yeah. Some good news actually that kind of came just within the last few days. So Alfonso Albaisa, who joined Nissan in 1998, he's had a hand in everything from the Frontier design to the QX60s, the 55s, Pathfinder, Rogue, Sentra, and most notably the Z Proto, and of course the Araya.
Yeah.
Just got some kudos. Let me see here, Mike. Do you have the article, or you want me to take the steering wheel here? I want to show
Uh,
you what came up on the Nissan website here recently, and also on Newsweek's website.
sure, share away. Let's get this.
But yeah, we were super surprised, but not really surprised, to kind of see this make its way over to. But Nissan's Alfonso Albaisa named Newsweek's Designer of the Year in inaugural World's Greatest Auto Distributors Award. So
Mm,
very cool. This came through just recently. Newsweek gave the award, and it highlights the best and the brightest in the auto industry across 6 categories. So Albaisa received the award amid the Nissan Next Transformation, a 4-year global initiative that kicked off in 2020, promising 12 new models that we've talked about in the past, including the all-new Araya, Frontier, Pathfinder, Rogue, New Z, and some others. He quoted, disruption is the job description. So I take great honor in this formal recognition of doing what my team and I were born to do day in, day out. It's also incredibly humbling to receive acknowledgement alongside my incredibly talented industry peers for 34 years of wonderful collaboration at Nissan. So yeah, a very cool kudos to him. I wanted to say, in addition to overseeing vehicle design, Albayasa also provides direction for the company's logos, display spaces,
Wow.
dealerships, and even building architecture. So he is a very,
He's
very
all over the place.
very cool. So this came through just actually last week here, and I thought it was a very good kudos. I wanted to give the man a recognition on that, and make sure that we talked about that here on it. Again, we love everything he
Yeah.
does. Super cool guy, and he's an ex Z32 fanatic, so gotta love him.
He's been around for a while. Yeah, definitely a Nissan enthusiast at heart, much like Tamuro-san as well, who
Mhm.
is essentially works very closely with Alfonso. Um, the we've seen as part of the Nissan Next program, obviously the new Z. I'm in love with it. I mean, I'm just waiting for. I get my hands on one for one, but we've also seen the Pathfinder. We've seen the Frontier. Frontier has
Yes,
won a lot of awards on its own. We've mentioned that in the past as well.
New Frontiers kicking tail, man.
It is.
I really like the new design. I think
Yeah.
the MSRP is where it needs to be. I think it's priced right for the market.
Hmm.
I mean, people are buying them. I'm starting to see them out there. I mean, they're going to get some pretty tough competition into the market, but give it time. The Frontier is a hell of a truck. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to do really well once they start getting out there. And I love the new colors, especially that new
Which color?
the new gray.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
gray
love
one.
that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It really
Color.
does. It seems to be a very popular color, which I do like
Yeah.
that one as well. Yeah. Um,
So again, kudos to Alfonso for his award. It probably won't be the last.
I, that's
So
exactly what I was thinking. Was like, yes, he's not retiring for God's sake. He's got more up his sleeve. I know he does.
no,
Uh,
definitely for sure. So
Congrats. All right, man. Well, I know that covers the articles we typically cover. However, we do have one which we could like to consider a what would you call it? Lightning round that we
oh,
call
yeah, the news in
news.
60 seconds. We probably should just drop that because you and I almost never make it in 60 seconds. So because we're
It's hard.
gabbers,
Well, it
we're
is. I mean,
gabbers.
we try, but sometimes these articles are just too good to not say something more about them. So I'm okay with it. But I mean, we do try. But
Okay.
uh,
So, yeah, a few things here. I actually wanted to throw something in that
mhm.
I totally forgot about, Mike. And for those that don't know, if you're in the LA area, just this week, and I probably should add this into the events, but I'm going to go
Okay.
ahead and throw it out here because you only have a limited time frame. But
Yeah.
the new Z and a Nissan display is on display starting today at the
Today.
Nissan at the Peterson Museum in LA. So for those that don't know,
Yep.
go check it out
N-
if you're in the area.
well, now you know. Yeah.
How you know? And all right, Mike, let's go into the news lightning round, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got.
Let's go ahead and go for it. All right. All right. Again, news in 60 seconds. Get your timer out, Miles.
No,
Let's
go. Just go.
let's go
Go.
for it. All right. First things first. Mattel has released a special edition Z. You can see here in the pictures is a gold flake limited edition Matchbox collector's edition of the new model Z car. These were just released for sale less than 48 hours ago. These things sold out so quickly. It was actually pretty amazing how fast they did sell out. I would
Made
say
out of
that,
real gold.
yeah,
It's true. True.
yeah, it. Everything on the internet's true. Exactly. Yeah. Now they did say they're bringing the new Z to life, paying homage to the Z. What I noticed about these was that unlike some other cars that are currently out, collector cars, I mean, the door's open on this one. You can see the interior. Miles, I think you had said earlier that Matchbox is known for having rubber wheels. I think that's also
Yes.
a kind of a
Yeah, and
indicator.
I will say this: I was like, look, you can split a room here, and there are nerds that are in this group with us right now.
Hmm.
You're either a Hot Wheels man or you're a Matchbox man. All right. Matchbox, they have the leg up because they make rubber tires on their stuff, and it's pretty badass. But any Hot Wheel man that modifies their little Hot Wheels cars, you're gonna put some rubber on there, or you're gonna put some slick wheels, and that's just how it is. You might steal some Matchbox wheels, but you're just stealing them just for the wheels. And then guess what? Hot Wheels is coming back at you with making versions with the rubber, and they've done that over the years countless times. Uh
Hmm.
oh, hold on. Well, now
Uh-oh.
see the nerds. Oh, the fire starting.
Oh, here they come. Here comes the comments. Yeah.
Here comes the comments. But yeah, you're either a Hot Wheels or you're a Matchbox guy, or if you're Bert and you're a Tamika guy, which okay, so
Hmm.
all right, you know, sometimes I love the Hot Wheels stuff. It can be a little Van Halen sometimes, like a little too Americano. And then the Matchbox stuff is great, but I don't like the way it comes out. Like the proportions sometimes aren't best. The
Yeah.
Tamika stuff can be pretty nice, but they just never get the stance right. It's never like the
Mm.
sexy Tamika stance. I don't know, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Put me on the crucifix on the Hot Wheels crucifix and crucify me if I'm saying anything that's out of order. If you got an input, throw it on right now.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah, yeah.
throw it up here.
Now
Let's
you
see here.
did mention here too on the doors. See, the door jams
See,
are. It's
look at
missing
that.
some
That's
of the
just shoddy
gold
work right
there.
now. The little tiny people that they get to paint these cars, they didn't do all their prep and masking work. Look at that. It's Bush League
that's
Matchbox.
that's or is a Mako job? What's going on here?
Yeah,
You know.
it does look very make-a-wish, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm not saying anything. It's an amazing car, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying you owed it more than what it got. So I'm just saying and less tackle box next time. All right,
Yep.
more
Yep. Yep. Yep.
sexy, less tackle box. But anyway, very
Let's go
cool.
for it.
$25 a pop. Yeah, I probably would
Yeah.
have bought one if they didn't sell out. But you can
They're,
now find your one on eBay if you're lucky enough for
yeah. Yeah. The
$125
low price of
for the low
125.
low
I'm
price of
sure.
125 now. And it's still not made out of real gold. All right, moving
Yeah.
along.
Moving along. There was some somewhat of a issue, a PSA, Miles, that you had mentioned wanting to talk about. Did you have something on that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see here. I did want to talk about this, and for those, and I'm talking to my Q peeps that are out there right now. If you had the run flat tires that came back into day, and you had these guys
That
giving you a
thing.
problem, the
Wow.
old OE tires, guess what? They're rotting out about this time frame. For those that don't know, we're talking 50s, Q50s and the 60s. I think these were the God. Now you got me all. I'm shot. Were these the Dunlops originally?
I want to say they're the Dunlops. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, these were the Dunlops that came on them. These are doing this number. These are run flats, so you're gonna get this little donut situation going on. But what's happening is there isn't quite a recall on them, but there's been a lot of talk on the forums and the groups about these tires. If you have them and your ride is not riding like it should, and you're getting that vibration, you're not getting the original feel. Maybe it's time to swap out these. Look into it and check how hard your rubber is. Does that make sense? But yeah, just a
Yeah.
little PSA
Yeah.
announcement for those that are in the know,
Hmm.
and you're rocking those. Maybe it's time to get out of the Dunlops or replace them. But the price tag on the Dunlops are pretty redonk. So
Hmm.
Yokohama just throwing it out there.
Of course,
But
we
moving
say this
along,
because we care. Yeah, exactly.
we say it because we care.
Because we care. Yeah.
Fatality.
Oh, we don't
All
want.
right,
Yeah,
now
exactly. All
talking
right.
about potential death and upset people, you got a lawsuit you want to talk about. Go on.
Oh yeah. So the article again for news in 60 seconds, whatever you want to call it at this point now.
News in 420 seconds. Somebody put out news in 240 seconds. All right, as as
Yeah.
Bart threw it on there. Go for it. What do you got?
So I read this. This is not exactly Nissan related, but I think for those as Nissan enthusiasts, you can have a chuckle with me on this. This was through Jalopnik. There is a class action lawsuit currently being handed to Hyundai. This article explains that it applies to oil consumption issues for engines, essentially that are in the Kia and Hyundai models for like the past decade. Is what they're saying. Uh, I think us as Nissan VQ owners, past and present, we could say that that's pretty cute. I think as that's cute. Yeah, oil consumption. Yeah, I mean, dude, man, I don't know, man. I face it
I
on an
feel like
everyday
you're going to go
basis.
into a particular type of Nissan, a particular platform of engine. I'm not going to name any names because
Yeah,
we have a lot of guys with a lot of different cars and a lot of different forums that listen to us. But it is
yeah,
true. Some models get burned some more oil than others
yeah.
or are known for burning some oil. So
Absolutely.
guess what?
Again,
Hyundai
anything.
owners,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not a perfect world. It's a very imperfect world.
I read this article and near the end, it just came off as whiny, man. I'm just like, it was like, oh, well, it's 1 quart every oil change. Oh, well, now it's 2 quarts every oil change. We were forced. They are
Oh,
forced, they said, forced to check their oil level weekly miles. Oh my God. Can you imagine a world? I wanted to say for this, suck it up, Buttercup. Just
hold
get your
on.
car
I'm
running.
gonna play a sad little.
Yes, please do.
I'm playing the saddest song I could for all the oil consumption in your Hyundai engines.
And
My heart will go on.
you,
All
my
right.
yes, you
Um,
Nissan, and again for those who own the VQ engines, no matter what platform it is, let's go ahead and uh, again just continue fighting. Check your oil, keep your level low, and
continue to fight the good oil
fight the
consumption
good
fight.
fight, man. Just keep on fighting the good
Josh,
fight. Yeah.
Josh threw something in here that made me chuckle. He said, uh, considering they're the most stolen cars on the market right now, how can they even know that? Just like get stolen every day. Pretty good. Made me chuckle with that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me see here. Bert said the Zuzu needed a quart every fill up. Wow.
A quart every fill up. Yeah, dude. I had a
Man,
buddy of mine.
a lot of burn. That's
He
a
was
lot of
an
blow by burn. Go
yeah.
ahead.
I had a buddy of mine. He was a mechanic, a Nissan mechanic, dude. He literally carried a 5 quart container in his back seat, and every day after work. And I mean, the oil consumption was so bad. I mean, a lot of times, at least for in my case, I don't really leave a cloud that I know of. But this one, his smoke cloud was so obvious, and that he literally had to fill up, check his oil before leaving the shop every day. That's how bad it was, And that's the life of a mechanic, though, man. You're so occupied improving fixing everybody else's car except your own. So that's definitely some love there.
Well, it happens. It is what it is. So,
hmm
all right. Well, I think that's
Uh,
everything that we're going to talk about for. No, you don't.
no, I've got one more too.
You're going to nerd out, aren't you? Oh my God.
I definitely gonna say this. This is I got one last one again for you guys as part of. Now this next one again, not
All right, get
exactly
a drink,
Nissan
boys.
related.
Get a drink,
Yeah.
boys. This one's going to get you angry. Go on.
No, that's gonna. I'm gonna rile up
Mike's
the
gonna,
troops on this one. Yeah.
Mike's gonna flip the bitch switch. Go on.
I'm gonna become a full blown Karen. Is that what you're saying?
He's gonna Karen out. Nice.
I'm
All
gonna
right, go
Karen out. All right. On the next article that I did want to cover here very quickly is that
ahead.
great news for you Supra guys. Oh man, the Supra is getting a manual
We have
transmission.
so many super people that listen to us.
Oh yeah, it's so ingenious. Oh man, it's so great. No, what I did want to say though is that after 4 years of the Supra being on the market, oh, it's here through Car and Driver that Supra is officially getting a manual transmission. There are still some unknowns, but this was an article that was
Officially,
recently, officially, finally, all this
they're
stuff. Right.
correcting the error of their ways. Go on.
That's what I wanted to say, Miles. Now think about it. After 4 years, they're doing this. Why are they doing this now, Miles? Why not when the car first came out? And this is the point that I really want to drive home on this, which is this reaction by Toyota is not it's not like they listen to their enthusiasts, the people who really want it. No, this is a reaction to feeling threatened by Nissan and the Z car. They saw Miles, much like ourselves. We saw all the posts on social media about people talking about the Z, that the standard transmission was such, props to Nissan for doing that. I saw a lot of Supra owners talking about how they're going to trade in their Supras to get the new Z because they want that manual transmission. And
Mm,
I think this is a response by Toyota just to really, I don't know, stay competitive. I don't know. And to me, it's too little, too late. Toyota's already shown their colors, what they value the most, and it's not their it's not their customers, it's not the enthusiast base. They don't listen. It's one of three things. Either okay. It's
I told you he's gonna rage out.
it's
All
it's
right,
one
go
of
on.
three things. It's one of three things, Miles, in my opinion. Either Toyota is not connected with their enthusiasts, they don't listen to their enthusiasts, or they don't care about what their enthusiasts want. I'm sure in the alternative world of the Toyota world, their enthusiasts were telling executives they were asking for a manual transmission just as much as we were to our executives. But guess who listened? And that's Nissan. And that's really what I want to bring it down to. I want to say props for Nissan executives for listening, for caring, for being connected with us as the Nissan enthusiast base, and for actually doing something. They're setting a trend, in my opinion. Again, Toyota's already shown their colors. They're doing this because they feel threatened, not because they actually want to give their enthusiasts
Ooh.
an actual driving experience, man.
So
So,
kudos to Nissan, poo poo on Toyota for not listening to your fan base and giving them what they want. So all right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh wow,
You're
broke
you're
that out.
killing it with the sound, man. You're really doing it for me. Thank
I
you.
am Johnny on the spot with the sound today. I am killing, son. Back to my DJs on the ones and twos. All right. Well, so
Ah,
that is going to conclude Mike's Bitch session today for the Mike's Bitches in 240 seconds. All right. Thank you for being with us and holding off. Now we're going to get to the
tip your
fat.
waitresses on the way out. Yeah.
Tip your waitresses and your bartenders. We're going to be doing it for you all night here. All right. Okay, hold on. Josh, before we jump into motorsports, I'm going to let Josh talk. 14-year-olds who defended that trash car on the internet are going to have a field day with that info. All right. Ooh,
Tell me I'm
Josh.
wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. That's you can't.
If
That's all
if
I'm saying.
so, for those that do watch the show, I will put Mike's address at the end of the show, and a group of angry Toyota super guys will drag him into the
Might
street in the
give them.
night. But they probably won't get far because they don't know how to drive standard anyway. So unless it's an automatic, Mike will be okay.
I'll be
All
fine.
right. So moving on down the line,
Yes.
we got to talk about motorsports here. It's finally starting to pick up now.
Mm.
About goddamn time. So we need to talk about Super GT. Finally dropped their first round, and it was a doozy. So I am gonna go ahead and steal.
Go for it.
Oh, you let me know.
There
You let
you
me know when you're ready
go.
to party. Okay, fine. Go. Whatever. All right. So I'm gonna run this in the background while I go through some of the comments of what the last race was. So a lot happened within the first round here of the Super GT. Again, it was an amazing lead up to here because as me and Mike kind of talked about, the Z was coming out as a very promising contender, and it did not disappoint this time around. So with the Z, this round practice and all the days prior to that were very, very powerful. I'll leave it
Hmm.
at that. So, coming out of this, as you can kind of see here, we're looking at basically Q1 for the day. This is just getting everything, it's the day. This is round one, and it's going to kick off. All right, so Super GT is
Hmm.
kicking off here, and 416 was Saturday's practice.
Hmm.
Um, Everything turned out pretty slick, man. In the 500 class with all the new Z's, in practice, the Motul Altec Z was actually killing it. It actually was. It was taking position in pre-practice, putting down a best time of 118.185. Supra coming in just after that, the Tom Supra, and then the Craft Sports Motul Z right after that, and the Realize Advan Z right after that. So it's Z, Supra, Z, Supra, Z. It's crazy.
Ooh.
This is practice. So as we start going into this video a little bit further, we're going to start getting into the actual race day, which was qualifying, or excuse me, which was qualifying on 416 the same day. Now for qualification, some things changed a little bit. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. For qualification, sitting on the podium, it turned out that the Supras kind of took the day in the qualification for that day. The Ineos Supra, the Denso Supra, and then the Stanley NSX, which is still a pretty damn good contender, and then the Supra in fourth. Fifth place, the Realize Advan Z, and then the Supra
Mm.
Z, Supra Z. That trend kind of stick kept going up, but all the times were right there. So it was Q1, Q2 coming at it, and it was a blistering qualification for that Saturday. Now, for that's for 500 class. For round three, excuse me, for the 300 class for
Mhm.
qualification, the day for qualifying went out to the Super BRZ, the Lexus GT3 RC car came in second. The Tenax Gainer GTR taking qualifying third. And then after that, the NSX, and then the Realized Nissan Mechanical Challenge GTR. Remember those guys who kicked ass last year? They
Yeah.
took fifth.
Okay.
Hold your cards when it comes to that. Now we're going to talk a little bit about race day, which you're seeing going on right here.
Okay.
Now, 206, let me see here, at about, where am I right now? So we just passed at three here in just a few seconds. And keep your eye on the screen, Mike. The
Mhm.
Calsonic Z. I want you to check out this pass.
Ooh. Oh, push, push,
There
go,
it
go,
is.
go.
Yep, yep, yep. That was one of the best passes, in my opinion. One of the cleanest, best passes of the race.
It was
There's your
close.
Realize GTR, who's actually going to place very, very well as the day moves on. I'll give that to you here in just a few seconds.
Okay.
Now, the one thing I'm gonna show you here is gonna be a contact pass coming up here in just a second.
Ooh.
And it is right about coming on the next few laps that I wanted you to check out. Here you go. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. Ooh,
Oh.
a little super love on the backside of that one right there. So yeah, that was pretty interesting. Now you keep watching this, and as the day unfolds, it's not quite Nissan's day in the 500 class, but they do some pretty amazing driving for the day. Um, and I'll go ahead and lay down the numbers for the day. In
Okay.
first, we had in 500 class we had the Ineos Supra taking it with a 158.54. And then the Stanley NSX coming in 1 second behind them. The Motul Altec Z coming in third. So finishing in the really good point systems. And then remember we talked about Supra Z, Supra Z. Guess what?
Yeah.
The Zent Supra came in fourth, coming in fifth place. Craft Sports Motul Z with
Mm.
Chio driving that. Fifth place, sixth place Supra, seventh place Calsonic
Z.
Impulse Z. I was expecting them to
Z.
finish higher in the numbers, but guess what? They're still finishing in the points. Amazing. After that, Supra, NSX, and they did really good. The Realize Advan Z unfortunately didn't do what they needed to finish, and they were about
Mhm.
a lap behind when they draw the numbers.
Ah.
Going into the 300s, and we're showing here the Realize GTR. Keep checking it out.
Okay.
Oh man, my bad. Sorry. And I just messed up the computer screen. But this was the final laps here for the
Yeah.
300 class. The Realize GTR, first place.
Woo.
That was your 500 class winner right there.
Mhm.
And they did a damn good job with everything. So
That's
again, the Super GTR finishing in the points. The Realized Nissan Mechanical Challenge, which is a hell of a contender. They are kicking all kinds of tail. So
hmm
kudos to them. They drove with a 159.46.88. Behind them, the Up Garage NSX, the Leon Pyramid AMG Mercedes, and then the Pacific Ferrari. So they were kicking tail this year.
Oh wow.
Next seat in the line on that was unfortunately in 10th place. The Gainer Tanax GTR fell a little far back, but they did finish in 10th. And then after that, 11th place was the Buso Rafine GTR, the Nismo GT3. That finished out in 11th. So kudos to
Gotcha.
everybody on this one. I think it was a win, all in all,
Yeah.
for Nissan overall. Now, see here, boom, there you
Mechanic
go. That was
Challenge
that.
GTR. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think for the GT 300 class, the GTR being the leader, the champion of the race. Um, to me, I mean, obviously, we're biased, right? But I see that as being a safe bet. GTR has been in Super GT for a very long time. These are seasoned pros with a chassis that they've known for a very very long time, which is a great thing. Well, I think the bigger story, though, like you said, the Nissan Z in the GT 500 class getting third place. That's the first race in Super GT series ever, and it gets a podium. That's impressive.
Correct.
I don't know what the record is or how often first time out new chassis actually do that. But I want to say that the Nissan Z is on a very short list of teams that have
Correct.
actually done that.
Now, I wanted it to obviously, this is Nissan's feed from their Nissan TV YouTube video, which is amazing footage, great
Mhm.
insights, but we don't get a lot of English speaking options for it. So, Nissan, if you're ever listening to this, take the time, try to give us an English speaking version for the rest of for us here. That would be greatly appreciated, but we'll do what we can. But I did want to give you the opportunity. There's not a lot of English speakers for the as far as the driver's concerned, except for the gentleman that you're about to hear from, which is one of the co-drivers, Apollo Di
Mm.
Oliverio. He is one of the co-pilot drivers, and I wanted to give you a moment to kind of hear his insights on the car.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so for Fuji, now of course our pace in terms of one lap time, I think is going to be a little bit more difficult because of the extra 60 kilos. But we can still find a good car for the race. Look for the a tire that is working well for the long distance, and to manage the tires well, we can double stint at Fuji because the regulation is different for round two. It's a long race, so there is going to be many strategies. One driver can double stint, which is a new thing for Super GT. So until now, I didn't see double stint on the same driver. So there are some chances for strategy for Fuji. So we will have a meeting with the team and think about everything that we can do. So and of course, looking forward to it.
So yeah,
Wow.
again, great insights. If you ever get a chance to check out the YouTube highlights, highly recommended. You definitely want to jump in there and check those out if you can. And yeah, that's motorsports for Nissan. Next round's coming up here. We've got about 3 weeks, from what I understand, for the next round. We'll obviously post up the links and give you an opportunity to check those out, and we'll give you the dates here pretty soon.
Cool.
But that's everything I got, Mike. You got any questions?
I haven't ever seen a co-driver hold the microphone for another driver. If you saw that interview, the co-driver from the Realize team, normally it's the announcer or the interviewer that holds the microphone. If you look back, it's the co-driver that holds the microphone. I don't know, just a
You
crazy
know,
observation that I saw. That's
I'm
what are
just,
friends for?
well, it's either Super Friends or guess what? I control everything. I have the microphone. You will listen to everything I have to say. I will tell you. I will let you speak when you want to. What would you want to speak? And no, I'm just.
What do I do with my hands?
That's it. He's trying to. He's just trying to. He's trying to be a homie. That's all it really is. And I can respect that. All right. From now on, I'm going to control your interviews. Every time we do one, I'm going to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You see, yeah.
And that's it. All right.
That
But
takes
yeah, that
care.
was. But honestly, Super GT's looking really impressive this year. So if I haven't stressed it enough, it is amazing driving. It's the brand that we love. I would recommend trying to get behind it. Schedule up the races if you can on your own personal schedules.
Yep.
If not, check the Nissan Nerd podcast Facebook page. We try to update those with
Yep.
all the links. You can go and check that stuff out. We can give you the English version. We'll give you the English version. If we
Yeah.
can't, learn
Hey, let's
Japanese.
let's dub them ourselves. Hey, that would be fun. And we'll just make stuff up as we go. Just like,
I never thought we would get a cease and desist order from Nissan, but I'm pretty sure it would probably come from
but
the
why?
voiceovers from Nissan. But why? Yeah, that's probably how it happened. All right,
Oh,
moving along. You've
yes.
got some. What are you bringing What are you bringing to the table here?
Yes, we're talking about the Nissan EDAMS team at Formula E. That's what I want to recap for you guys as part of our motorsports segment here. I'm going to let this video play in the background as I give you some information as we
Yep.
go. Of course, we're talking about rounds 4 and 5, a doubleheader in the streets of Rome. This happened April 9th and 10th. So what is that? Almost 2 weeks ago when this happened. Actually, check this first part here. There's a Nissan. This is a little bit of bad news for Nissan here. I'll show you. It's literally right here in the opening moments of round 4. Essentially, what you're going to see though is that you've got Maximilian Gunther. He qualified 16th, and you'll see here going wide at a corner didn't go so well, and you're going to see him right here. Let's see if we see it. It's right there. Okay, getting tight. Right there. That's a
And boom goes the dynamite.
yeah. Boom, right there. That's Nissan right there. Hit the corner. Went wide of the corner. He was the first car to actually retire in round 4. Unfortunately, Sebastian Buemi though qualified 17th, finished 16th. So for the first round, no points to bring home. However, round 5, which happened the very next day, Gunther qualified 16th. He had a puncture in the first lap, in the opening lap of round 5. But through a lot of fixing the repair, continuing the race, he finished an impressive P11. Still not enough to get points, but considering what he had to go through to have a mid, what do you call that? Mid pack finish. It was still rather impressive considering the circumstances. Sebastian Buemi qualified 15th and finished 9th. So he did bring 2 points home for Nissan here at this doubleheader in Rome. That still keeps Nissan as in 8th place as a constructor so far this season. There are 11 teams. Nissan is currently 8th. We still have many more rounds to go. Round 6 will be a single. Let's talk about it here. Round 6 will actually be happening April 30th. And it's happening on a very historical streets of Monaco, which, again, this is the actual same configuration at Monaco that you would see at a typical F1 race. Let's just say that. Again, with 10 races to go, Nissan really needs to push to really have a better outcome, and a lot of times it's about improving morale and really kind of getting that extra push, like I said, to really change the trajectory of the rest of the season. With 10 races, 10 rounds to go, they're still very hopeful, but it's still a very critical point right now for the team. So that is our recap here.
It is still anybody's day to take that and go ahead and win the championship. So the day can still be taken. As long as Nissan puts in the effort.
Now, a little bit of news. This could be some potentially good news. I want to mention this. This was a recent article. Nissan has actually acquired the EDAMS team. 100% owners of the EDAMS team.
Contract.
Yep. Full control, full ownership of the Formula E team. They say that the change in ownership and the new management structure will take place effective immediately. Tommaso Volpe, the general manager of Nissan Formula E, will also become managing director of the EDAMS team. Again, effective immediately. Just
when
a little bit of
back. For me, you race for the best. I have no idea what he sounds like, but
yeah. Well, it's really funny though because not too long ago, I actually featured another article regarding ownership of the EDAMS team. Um, the previous owners of the EDAMS team, it was the Drio family. Uh, the founder Jean Paul Drio, he actually passed in 2019. His sons
Oh,
took over, and it's really part of this. Their sons essentially were the ones who sold uh, their stake, or you could say the complete ownership of the team to
oh wow.
Nissan as of
Okay.
this point. Yeah. So this transition has happened. It makes me wonder, though. The term dams and e-dams was from that the former owners. I'm wondering whether or not in
So they'll keep the name
2023,
or retire it.
who knows? That's kind of what I
Ah.
was thinking. I mean, could it be the Nismo Formula E team? I don't know. That's what I was
Ah.
thinking.
Big brain on grass.
That's actually interesting. All right. Well, we'll
Yeah,
find out here pretty soon when we get a Nissan newsroom update on it. So,
absolutely.
because there's
Uh,
only so much motorsports happening on the Nissan world when they
hmm
recognize it at that level. So, yeah, it's
Yep.
either Super GT or it's going to be EDAMS. Everything else from there is in the
Yep.
gray finite that we like to operate in. So,
Yeah.
talking about the gray finite,
hmm
Formula D.
hmm
We'll give you a little brief rundown on it, Mike. I think you got
Yeah.
this one too. Go for it.
Not a problem. Last episode we talked about Formula D, round one, which was in Long Beach. Want to go ahead and just give you a follow up. Round two is actually happening at Road Atlanta, May 6th and 7th. What is that? About 3 weeks? Actually,
Yeah.
2 weeks from pretty much 2 weeks from now.
True.
So stay tuned. If you are in the Atlanta area, try to grab some tickets. Formula D is happening. We'll be sure to give you some results as a part of Nissan's results in Formula D. And then
Yeah.
lastly, oh yeah. Lastly, don't think we've forgotten. We are still intending to cover the Nissan Sentra Cup, which is essentially based out of Canada.
Hallelujah. Yeah. Honestly, it's so weird that this isn't even stateside for us, but
Yeah.
we love this. I love this, but
hmm
it's not even in our backyard. It's over the fence, and the neighbors put up a high fence, and we can't even see over there. But I hear a lot of good things going on. Yeah, the Nissan Sentra Cup has been something that Mike and I have been, and also the Micro Cup. Let's not forget because that's how it
Yep.
started off life
Yep.
a number of years ago, and now with the Nissan Sentra Cup, it's gotten even more exciting, and it's just something that's just. I want to see a lot more of. And we covered it last year, but I was expecting so much more coverage from it available through the media. And we got a little bit for the first couple races, and then it was kind of gone. Like we couldn't
Yeah.
keep, we couldn't find anything, and the races were so like back to back to back to back that it was just done in an instant.
Yep.
So yeah, we were definitely super interested in it. I hope this year there's a little more coverage because we would definitely like to talk about it and definitely give exposure where credit is due because we love the event. But Mike, I'll let you talk about the dates and everything that's kind of coming up on it.
Not a problem. Again, 2022 season of the Sentra and Micra Cup, as you mentioned, Miles. Starting May 20th, so what is that? About a month from now is when races 1 and 2 will occur. About a month later, June 17th through 19th, is rounds 3 and 4. Pretty much another month in between races again. July 22nd and 24th is when you'll see races 5 and 6. At that point, you're looking at about another 2 weeks, August 5th and 7th. From there, it's about another month long, September 2nd and 4th. Essentially, in total, from the first race of the season to the final race, which is a total of 12, it's about a 3 month span of race time. So
And
that's it.
I noticed you didn't. I noticed you didn't talk about the locations where they were at because I know your French is pretty horrible.
My French is
So
horrible, man.
you know what? We'll make it easy. So the first round is the Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in
hmm
Ontario. Mike,
Yeah.
tell them where the second round one is. How's your French?
God,
Let's
I
see here.
hate you. All right. Circuit Gil Villanueva. See, it's the Latin. It's the Spanish. It's the Spanish that comes through
Why
because
don't you
French
just
and Spanish are
Why don't
both
you just do
Latin.
it in Spanish? Come on, it's just as good as your Japanese. Come on, let's go.
Circuit Mont de Blanc, maybe. I rolled the R. I don't think French roll R's, so that's on me. Yeah, that next one's pretty decent. Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, Ontario. Perfect. I got that one. And then you're back. Oh God. Circuit Mont Treblanc QC. Oh, I hope you're. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
By the way, that's exactly how they pronounce them in Canada. All right, so
Oh
moving
yeah.
moving on down the line, we've got to go through back alley chat. So
Oh
me and
yeah.
Mike were kind of kicking around for the last day or two about what is kind of firing us up, or what is the hot topic for back alley chat, because we get it anytime that we have a really good topic and we start arguing on it.
Yeah.
It's usually going to be a pretty good back alley chat. So in this particular case, with all sincerity, there's a lot of economical concerns that are going on right now, which are leading to the current situation that we're having with the effects of the global material shortages causing delays for a lot of things. But I guess ultimately we want to throw a back alley chat out. Could the effects of the global material shortages delay your project car plans? And honestly, I think it's a pretty damn valid question.
Yeah.
And we started like talking about, okay, now we're talking car purchases, delay of cars getting to market. Now we're talking about aftermarket parts. I mean, are aftermarket parts actually harder to get to? So
Yeah.
we actually had to do some research, call friends,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
check our facts. And guess what? We found out, because we thought, okay, the chip shortage is a thing, but how
It's not
about the
just that.
common man? How about the brother out there trying to install some aftermarket parts in his garage? Guess what?
Yep.
Everything across the
Everything.
market. And we're talking car purchases and car part, new and aftermarket and body shop world,
Hmm.
are delayed at this time. It truly
Maintenance
is.
parts included. Even if you're trying to get an oil filter, for God's sake, it's in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
cases it's very very hard to
So that
find.
is our back alley chat. Are part shortages affecting you, affecting your projects, affecting the availability to buy the cars that you want? Absolutely.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and talk about a
Yeah.
recap of events which
Let's go
have kind
for
of
it.
led us to shortages. But Mike,
What
I know you did a bulk of this legwork here. I'm going to let you kind of talk about it.
Cool, no problem. Before we do, I do want to encourage, for those of you that are with us online, if you have been affected or have a story regarding parts being either super expensive, either hard to find, whatever story relating to shortages, definitely include it in the comments. We
Yeah.
want to share what we can have,
If you've
and
been
at the end.
yeah, if you've been affected or if you've been negatively touched in your wallet area, let us know.
We have a bear with a wallet, and you tell us where.
You tell us
Uh,
where on the
on the
bear,
bear, have you
on
been?
the
Have you
bear.
been? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, all right, all right.
Go.
So, yes, a brief recap of what's going on. Of course, this is sort of common knowledge, but I really wanted to set the foundation so we really get this conversation going.
Sure.
You could say that our shortages began, these issues began as a response to the pandemic, COVID. You had a loss of manpower in factories. Factories were shutting down as a response. Other responses led into logistics, both foreign and domestic. You're talking about trying to transport these goods from one place to another, but when you've got a lack of manpower that's either sick, or you have got companies that are just trying to figure out a plan to respond to this in a safe way, there were definitely repercussions or delays involved. We've seen tons and tons of boats stuck in the customs harbor, on the west coast, trying to get in to deliver all these parts. There was a huge waiting line. So these are just some ideas. And then, this started 2 years ago. And then we kind of think that we're on the. That we've already passed the peak of it, and it's true. We've read some articles saying that essentially the peak of the shortage has passed. That's good news. Now we're still
We've
feeling the
peaked.
effects. Yeah, we've peaked. we we've uh we've passed the peak of COVID related issues. Now we're still feeling the effects probably until the end of the year. That's from based on some articles that we've read in the past. However, we've got again. I'm not really a political guy, Miles, but there is something happening in Ukraine, obviously, and that too is actually affecting our logistics in more ways than we actually would actually think about. And I can give you a few examples here, though. But what I do want to do in the meantime is that I do want to share my screen. And it's simple supply and demand. When supply is low, sorry, when supply is low and or demand is high, the prices are going to increase, right?
Right.
Again, I'm going to share my screen. These are just a few examples of materials and the prices of which they're going, and this is just proof of the shortage for those maybe who haven't felt it. This is just some graphs that I help. Again, this is me nerding out for just a moment here. Aluminum has spiked. Again, you're looking at just in percentage wise here, 25 to it peaked. Decent percentage here. Obviously, an upward trend. We're getting into copper. You see us a lot of into electronics and wiring. Very volatile. Lots of ups and downs. Overall, trending upward here. You've got nickel. Nickel's got a huge spike that just recently happened. And I have a personal story on this. People are asking why nickel. Well, the material nickel is used to develop stainless steel, so it's very it's needed. The number one supplier of nickel is, I believe, Russia, and number two is Ukraine. So the two countries that you need to receive this element to develop stainless steel, not you
Be
can't really get it right
surprised.
now. Yeah, and so that's why these prices have just shot up so much, and it's a response
Crazy.
to these international conflicts here. Lithium, we were talking about it earlier, Miles, with batteries currently. This is just in the last 6 months or last year per se. Just for sake here. Oh God, what's the increase that they're showing here? Is it giving me? Obviously, you can tell here it's nearly doubled for God's sakes. It's shoot more than that actually.
And we're
Uh,
talking pricing raw materials at this point, and this is everything that manufacturers need to do their business, to produce what they want, to innovate,
hmm
and to bring units to market, and that makes complete sense. You it's crazy that we kind of talked about this being as affecting so much,
Yeah.
and we started talking about it affecting your world. And then for those that don't know, in the insurance world, I have my hands in auto, and then I also have my hands in home construction,
Mm.
insurance as well. So we're seeing these like national back orders in home construction for things that is just due to staffing and due to availability of materials. I mean, where we would have what we call them national back orders, where if they were ever experienced, we're talking 1 week, 2 week notifications. Now we're talking like 6 to 9 month delays on certain things, like for the home. Don't break your windows. Double
Mm.
pane windows, the framing stuff's on the 6 to 9 month back orders for some of that stuff. Now that's in the home industry, but how can it affect everything that's happening in the body shop industry? And
Yeah.
for instance, guess what? Body shop industry is affected tremendously right now. Everything for the availability of the production of stamping out parts, things like doors, hoods, um, we're talking even suspension, calibers for Christ's sakes are on national back orders. And you'll find this out if you have a car that took a little bit of damage, took a little bit of run damage, from trading paint with somebody on the highway. Guess what? The delays are real right now. The industry, the automotive repair industry, is hurting badly for the availability of parts for certain vehicles, especially anything that has to kind of come overseas or has these national back orders. And now we're talking. Let's get into the that's affecting everybody. The availability of aftermarket parts. Now, you and
Yeah.
I, Mike. we kind of watch the same patterns for because we have a lot of the same cars, so we
Hmm.
follow the same patterns for aftermarket parts
Yes.
for things like cores. Are like, hey, these brakes are available. Let's go ahead and buy a set and I'll buy a set, and we put them on the shelves in case we need them for a project for a later day.
Yep.
Cores are a really big deal right now. We were just checking the other day with Rock Auto.
Yeah.
I was looking at cores. Cores have always and I was doing calipers, and I was like, oh, okay. Sometimes there's a core, sometimes there's not always a core for a caliber, but I'm going
Hmm.
to take these off, and I'm just going to send them off because guess what? That's what you want to do. When you're servicing a vehicle. I start looking at the core prices,
Yep.
triple the price on average right
Woo.
now for cores, which means they want them back because they can't order new core replacements
Hmm.
anymore. So they want your cores to rebuild them. The rebuilding services business right now is crazy
Yeah.
for all that stuff. Alternators, starters, um, AC condensers, calibers,
Yeah.
power steering racks.
I had
It's a thing.
It's exactly what you mentioned. I have that same issue. So one of the things I'm also trying to work on the Z is to get a rack and pinion. And I go to Rock Auto just for just to gauge prices. They don't have it available, but what they do have, they say, "Oh, send us your core, and we're gonna rebuild your part." We're not even gonna get. There's no exchange at that point. They're literally building what you give them. That's kind of an indication of how dire some of these things are. I mean, some of these suppliers or some of these units, new or rebuilt. I mean, they just can't get them either fast enough, or again, manpower is another one too. Just
Yeah.
that are seeing this before. And we
Yeah,
did.
I wanted I wanted to comment on here. A few people were kind of dropping some comments
Yes.
because we have people that are in the industry or they're feeling it, just like we're talking about. I'm
Yep.
going to go straight to Ion here. He says there's also silicon chip shortages, which is no small thing, and he couldn't be more than right.
Right.
Because we talked about that affecting the automotive industry, but it
Yep.
is affecting everything. Everybody's dying and grasping at straws for these chips that go
Yep.
into everything that we know and love.
And that's a big one that's actually causing the used market to go up. So when we think of supply and demand and prices going up, we always think the new car market. But because new cars are either literally, and I've seen this firsthand, there are brand new cars sitting in a field waiting to receive that one last piece, that one last chip, so that they can be able to be sold. Uh, and because there's a
Yeah,
delay, now used cars are going up. I'm actually thinking about trying to buy another car, but because the used car market is also increasing by so much, I'm starting to think this is me being affected essentially, where I start to think, well, maybe I should wait it out a little more. Can my car make it? Etc. Uh,
true.
yeah.
How much oil do I need to put in this tank to get going?
How many more cords do I need to waste? Yeah.
All right, we're getting some really good comments in here. I'm going to
Yeah.
keep the party going. Bert
Yeah.
dropping a note in. Still waiting on my Veris carbon fiber parts I ordered last June. I'll make a phone call for you. I'll talk. I want to speak to the
Yes.
manager of the manager, and that's it. You got to
Yeah.
get Karen on him, Bert. Don't be scared. All right. He also said, buddy of mine, his shop has 15 cars sitting waiting for parts.
This is real, man. These are actual real things
It's
that
a
are
real
happening.
thing, and you're not
Yeah.
the average person's not going to feel it until you have to feel it.
Yeah.
John, Mr. Papa Giorgio, Papa Sergio, actually commented here. He goes, I'm in the batter energy storage business. I'm living the
Battery.
commodities increase nightmare daily. I have vessels stuck at sea. Good Lord. More
Yeah.
vessels stuck in Long Beach and trucks trying to load in Shanghai, and that port just closed down again.
Wow.
Logistics chain is screwed for another 2 years at least. That
Wow.
is insane, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah. I
But
go
yeah, go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was going to say, and that kind of leads us to exactly what we were talking about. Ion dropped the note in here. He said people are interested in rebuilding again. Like I said, the rebuild market's going nuts right now,
Yep.
which is a sort of an interesting turning point. You and I kind of talked about this, Mike.
Mhm.
about the turning point of rebuilding
Rebuilding. Yep.
again.
I
What's crazy is the U.S. market was amazing at the rebuild services for the longest time, and maybe this is a U.S. economy thing that's kind of works in our favor. Maybe it could work for other economies. Maybe the small business will have this type of startup potential for rebuilding these
Well, there's
services.
tons, and I do see opportunity in this. I mean, one is for um, when it comes to mining or however these parts are extracted, recycling for God's sake, all the aluminum, all the steel, all the stainless steel, you really got to look into reuse, recycling. Domestically, you also look at domestic production. If not that, at least continental on this continent. You're still looking at you can look at in Mexico or Canada, perhaps the NAFTA free trade, you know, style. You might say
Calm
that's
down,
still an
Mike.
option.
We're
Yeah, yeah.
getting more international
Now,
these days. So you got to think about our Australian brothers, our UK brothers. We got people
yep,
chiming in now from
true.
all over the world to listen on the
Yep.
podcast. So be
I
nice.
yes,
It's
yes,
not
yes.
it's not our continent versus the other continent just yet.
Oh,
Slow
I
your
never.
roll.
Yeah, of
Slow
course
your
not. Of
roll.
course not.
All
Now,
right.
I did have. By the way, Miles, I didn't tell you this though, but earlier today, since we were talking about, we knew we were talking about this subject just a little bit. I actually reached out to our friend Spencer at Z1 Motorsports, and
Uh-oh.
kind of asked for his opinion. So, for those who don't know, Z1 Motorsports is one of the largest global providers of Nissan OEM parts, Nissan performance parts, everything under the sun. They are Z1 Motorsports is a huge factor, a huge resource for you to get parts. And so I thought he was the perfect candidate to ask, how has the shortage affected you? And I literally just got his response during the show. So this is hot off the press, though. Um, Saying here that sure, yes, the this is again from a quote here. Yes, the shortage is a real thing. It's hit many suppliers harder than others. He goes, at Z1, they've worked hard to raise stock levels and safety stock levels significantly. Of course, contributing factors with COVID, power restrictions, shutdowns, delays in logistics, both local and global scale, have made things much more complex to manage. So a lot more manpower is being involved to really, you know, crack that whip, and get these things to your front door as soon as possible so that they can be shipped. Again, orders are waiting to get these things out, though. Spencer went on to say that many more people are understanding of the unique climate that we're in and committed to have higher stock availability rates than anyone. Over the past 2 years, Z1 has added over 50% more storage and 50% more staff to meet the stocking fulfillment and support needs. Says still growing. Actually, looking for more people on his team, by the way, too. He says here. So,
A
winky
shameless
face.
plug
Hey,
for
what? No, oh, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, of course. Hey,
shameless plug
always
for
looking, man.
employment opportunities. We feel you,
Hey,
Spence. We
and
love you. And
anybody in the
if
Atlanta area, that definitely. Now,
if you
Howard.
live if you live in and around the Atlanta area and are looking for a position that gives you the opportunity to meet interesting and sexually potent people, reach out to Z1 Motorsports
All right,
and
right.
Spencer. I'm just
Now,
joking. No, but
he
for real.
he.
But
Yeah.
honestly, they're a great employer, great
Oh, of course.
business. We absolutely love them. But
Great.
besides my joke,
What I wanted to say though is that he did mention something that we haven't mentioned yet, which is
go on.
as a as a retailer, as a supplier, as a distributor of parts, something they can do to get ahead of the curve is to essentially overstock your items while you can, so that when the shortage does come in whatever particular material or part that it is, you definitely have something still on the shelf to keep you going. That's actually a
Are
really
you
good
saying
strategy.
parts hoarding?
Essentially, what we're saying,
I'm
I know. Well, we
I'm
mentioned
just
it on a
saying.
personal level, but yeah,
I'm just
from a
saying.
business perspective, yeah, you
I
have
guess
to.
you have to parts hoard, me or them. You have to survive. But no, I get that. Now it's true. You have to kind of be a little strategic, and I can understand that as well. So, a few things that I wanted to kind of go back and touch base. We got a few more comments because this is
Yeah,
actually
I'm
a
I'm
very
loving
personal
this.
topic for a
Thank you
lot of
guys
people.
for writing.
So,
Yes.
Brad chimed in. He goes, "We've got a scourge of a-holes stealing catalytic converters from cars that are parked
Ha
at train stations, selling them for, I'm assuming, rare metals, not rare metals. But either
Yep.
way,
Mm-hmm.
those metals, rare or rare, are worth some money." But he's got a point. That's kind of not new. That's been happening for a while. You know what's crazy? I don't know what neck of the woods you're in, Brad, but in Texas, they recently have started a thing when you're going to take in catalytic converters. They require that they link them to a VIN number, to, I guess,
Yep.
um, to deter people from stealing the catalytic converter, because now they have to prove it up. I'm sure there's ways to get around it. There's always going to be sketchy people buying stuff like that. But I actually had my own situation where I had to turn in my own catalytic converters because they were fairly clogged
Yep.
on a Nissan Frontier. I had to replace them. I put on my new ones, and I went there and I'm like, all right, I'm going to turn these in. And I know I'll get a few bucks for them, but they made me jump through so many hoops. They made me bring my VIN, my title of my vehicle in. They had to look for the stamping, the cuts. They had to make sure that they inspected the original vehicle, and then they took my license. A quart of
Wow.
blood. I mean, it was a lot.
Spread your
Of
cheeks and
course,
lift your sack. Yeah.
spread your
Yeah.
cheeks, lift your sack. But it's true. At the end of it all, though, I was expecting a certain number. That number was damn near double, because of the precious metal aspect of it. So the market's there, but does your state put in the roadblocks to deter that from happening for the future? So yeah,
Good.
whether, and I'm curious for those boys that are chiming in right now from like Australia, the UK.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a problem with precious metals being stolen from your vehicle, aka cats? So
Mm-hmm.
we'd like to hear from you and see what's going down in your neck of the woods. So I guess,
Us.
yeah, if Brad's chiming in from Australia, I guess it's, this is a global, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say pandemic,
We're not the
but
only ones.
global situations. Yeah, this is nothing new. Wow, that
Yeah.
stinks, man. Brad, I'm sorry to hear that's happening in your neck of the woods, brother.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah. Now, okay, Miles, getting back to the question though, too. So,
Yeah.
for you
So,
personally, how has any shortage in the last year or two affected you? And if you want to share yours, I'll share mine and go from there.
yeah, just so me personally, I work on a lot of people's cars
Hmm.
locally, and I really don't charge that much. If anything, I just try to get a little bit for my time, but I'm just trying to keep vehicles on the road,
Yeah,
give people the experience of learning how to work on their own cars,
yeah,
where before it was out of their thought process of even repairing their own vehicles, and they were thinking about selling these cars. So I
hmm,
said, you know what? Bring your parts. We'll install them together. Pay me a little something from your time, and let's get that done. But I find that customers are having harder times finding these parts. Thankfully, some companies like Z1, for instance, SPL parts are still making some availability.
hmm.
Luckily, because they have part availability at this time. That's on a local level here in Texas or here
Yeah,
in the United States. But yeah, I've had some stuff that kind of is going wrong with the customer's car, and where I would normally be able to get it in a 3 day or 5 day turnaround, I find that I can't just rely on ordering on the website. I have to make a phone call to the manufacturer, or to the parts
distributor.
supplier. I,
Yeah,
I can't I can't rely on the fact that the website's updated, because the limited quantities literally can bite you in the tail.
yeah.
You start committing to time frames with customers to get vehicles repaired. You can't
Hmm.
do that anymore. Say, I mean, it's happening in the body shop industry. I'm just a little grassroots, shade tree mechanic that's trying to keep friends and family kind of going, and I'm trying to keep a car club going. Sorry, and trying to keep things going in that respect. But it's true. I'm sure there's a million guys like me that are having that same type of effect. But yeah, damn. So
That's true, man. That's true. Yeah, for me, I mentioned a few things just regarding the. Now, for me personally, it would take a lot for me to buy a new car. So that the new car market isn't really affecting me though. But however, the used car market is affecting me. I've seen Nissan prices and other car prices, just cars that I'm interested in. Just have a curiosity. Who doesn't window shop on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace? And then all of a sudden, you see these numbers, increase by not just hundreds, but $1,000, $2,000,
yeah,
more than that. It just depends on what it is. and you start thinking, ah, man, I really, you think two things: either I should have bought it earlier, or I'm gonna wait. It just depends on how bad you actually need it, So that's one thing I've seen looking at used cars. What I'm really waiting for, what not waiting for, maybe what I'm at least in these times in this economy. I think of I don't know. I like saying that too. In this economy, I really when the time comes for me to either upgrade or add to my garage a new car or truck, I'm really gonna be on the lookout for just the deal, not a deal, but the deal. You've got somebody out there. It's going to be consumer to consumer. It's not going to be through a dealership. It's somebody who says, "Oh well, yeah, I've seen them." There's actually in every sale has a story. I just saw one. It was like, "Oh well, my son doesn't deserve this car. I'm selling it cheap." Oh
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
or
Well, my
this was
son's a
my
piece of crap. I want to go ahead and put that out there
yeah.
through the airwaves. My son's a piece of crap. He doesn't deserve my love or my financial backing.
Oh right.
But but I see where you're going with that. Now, I did want to mention something about before we get into, and I know we're getting hot topic talking about catalytic converters and metals and the
Hmm.
sleaziness of people stealing cats, but the used car market right now
Yeah.
is also a thing. And I know this is we're this is a big fat back alley shack burger. It's triple burger with triple cheese, and some bacon in it, because we've got a lot to kind of cover here today. But the a secondary precursor to this is that the used car market
Yeah.
is redonkulously high right now.
Yes.
You find dealers are actually trying to buy people's used cars at
Mm.
higher rates. They're paying a premium to buy used cars just to fill their lots with used car vehicles, because the used car market is so high right now too as
Yep.
well. You're seeing, we were talking about this the other day, and it's weird that I gauge my value of cars based off of like five vehicles. It's weird. It's weird, and I swear to, and it's all off a Nissan. And this is how much of a Nissan nerd I am. Like, I price how well the used car market is by the Nissan Cube, the Nissan
Okay.
Rogue, the Nissan Frontier, and then let me see here, the Xterra, and
Okay.
then what else? God, there was one, and the Toyota Forerunner. That's
Mm.
it. And depending how high those go, I
Yeah.
usually can kind of see. I know it sounds stupid to just gauge it completely off that,
Mm.
but it's true. The used car market is extremely high. And some are gauging as high as a 20 to 30% increase in used car vehicles right now. So
Yeah.
does it pay to keep your old car? Yeah. Do you
I
have part availability? Are you going to have more part availability for, I don't know, the 87 720 that you've got sitting outside that steals your beater
mm-hmm.
versus the brand new Ford F-150 that doesn't have any part availability,
Yeah. Yeah.
or yeah, it's just kind of
Well,
crazy.
I won't
So
lie, man. I've kind of saw this too because I have a brother he's looking for a 350. So he consults with me, right? He's like, "Hey, well, what do you think about this? What do you think about
I
that?"
come to you
Yes.
for
Yeah.
answers.
That's yeah. So he comes to me and he shows me these cars and they're 350s, and they have just as much miles as mine, similar condition, and essentially it's more the prices are more than what I personally paid for my car 5 years ago. So the idea does come to mind. It's like, is this if you have a car sitting around, this is the time to sell in many cases because demand is high. You can actually capitalize on it just a little bit. I mean, literally, my Z, I've put 70,000 miles on it since I've bought it, and I could probably sell it for 2 grand more than what I paid for. 1 grand, 1,500 bucks more than what I bought it for. Like that's unheard of. Like after all that years of abuse, you can get a car and actually make money on it like that. I mean, It's not a garage queen either. It's not a collector. Well, sorry, 350Zs are on their way to being collectors. You've seen that. The drift
Well,
tax is a fact in the 350Z.
I like
That's
the
a
way
whole
you say
separate
that
story. That's a separate story.
because you
But yeah,
own the car. Yeah, we're not going into the drift tax, and we're not doing
yeah.
that. We're talking about straight up economy making changes. But yeah, very good. I love the fact that you're always an opportunist and always willing to pocket rape your fellow man. Yeah, so it's just
God.
don't. And this is why I don't buy anything from you because you're gonna
Yeah.
pocket rape me. I
Yeah.
already got this going on here. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't have it. I can't have it two
Yeah.
ways. All right, I can't
No, no, no,
just.
no.
We
Okay.
can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say one last thing though. The is actually brought in a point too for me shopping. Why not look at used performance parts? Again, one is because they are available, and even
Yeah.
if there is a markup, on most cases when it comes to just parts, yeah, there's probably gonna be a markup involved, but it's still not as much as a part buying new. In
Yeah.
this case, exhaust. If you find one in good condition, you're still ahead. I think.
If this stays up for another 2 years, I'm telling you right now, we're going to Mexico. I'm going to trade everything in, and we're just going to buy Nissan Surus slash Sentras,
Yeah.
and that's just how we're going to do. We're going to convert those into trucks.
Yeah.
And then when in 5 years when the market finally flip flops and everything's electric, then we're going to turn those fools electric when those batteries hit, and we're going to start robbing those out of everything else. And that's how the ghetto get by.
Well, I've seen your fabrications.
It's
Well,
telling you,
I've seen your fabrication skills on this 620. Yeah.
that's how it is. Exactly how I'm going to fabricate absolutely everything going into the future. So,
Yeah.
before we step out on this topic,
Yeah.
I want to give a few more comments out to the crowd. A lot of comments today. Yeah, so kudos. Brad out of Aussie said, "So I've been told JDM cars here in Australia have gone through the roof. Big money due to buyers in the US. Hey, calm down now, Brad. In the US now able to import them due to the new registration rules. Apparently getting purchased from here by your countrymen. All right. Slow your roll, homie.
What?
Slow your roll. Any problems? All right,
uh,
but no, for real, we are the drift tax is pretty stupid here, man, and we're buying up stuff at redonkulous prices.
well,
So yeah, my apologies if
that's
we're destroying your car scene. My
that's
bad.
an interesting topic. I never thought of it from that perspective. That something that
Well,
they've
we're
had
still.
for so long is now being directed somewhere else. A
But you know what's
portion of it.
crazy is like we had so many Z's, like 240Zs, S30s, that we sold so many here that the Japanese and like the UK and everybody's trying to buy our S30 chassis. I mean, just we're talking drift taxes and nerd stuff. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
yeah, but systematically, car boys have destroyed the availability to purchase your dream cars. So yeah,
I meant
what?
to do that.
One last thing though, too, Biles, and it's just a side note. Uh, here in the United States, we have a 25-year rule for importation of Japanese cars, JDM cars, essentially. Canada has a 10-year rule. So that means, honestly, and there was a big article on a Japanese nostalgic car, and I'm talking this, 6, 7 years ago when the first Skyline R32 had come in to the States. Supposedly, the first Skyline R32 to enter the States came from Canada because, first of all, they were already in Canada, and secondly, when you cross the border by driving, they don't look at the actual month of the production date. They look at just the year in general, as opposed to overseas
those,
customs when they look at the actual month.
those
Uh,
loose Canadians, they're just letting anything fly nowadays. Loose moose. That's what we're gonna call them.
oh
The
my
old
God.
loose moose Canadians. All right. Josh said, yeah. It goes. I think that 25-year rule is over with. So now we can get our turbo marches, yeah, our bluebirds and all that. Never, but yeah, yeah, that'd be kind of pretty badass. Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I still say screw it, Mexico.
You boys like Mexico?
That's it. That's it. We're going to Mexico. We're gonna do it. You can take that GTR right into Mexico. You're legal, baby. That's it.
Mm.
That's it.
I'll put
That's it.
yeah, that's true. I'd put a timer on how long you're gonna own that thing though, but but yes,
That's it.
You learning your salsa dancing? Is that what you're doing? What are you doing, man?
That's it. Just,
Dun, 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 dun,
that's
dun,
it.
dun.
That's it. I'd be
Okay.
the sickest caballero in Mexico for
I
about
got.
24 hours, man. It was just,
I've got. Yeah. I wish I had that picture of you with the sombrero from Nismo Fiesta because it'd be so fitting right now. But next time.
yeah. Moving on.
Yes.
All right, so hell of a good episode. I feel like you still want to talk about some more stuff. Please continue.
Well, we've got events coming up, so of course we like to mention events happening.
Bruh.
Yeah, it'll be 60 seconds per. Yeah. Let's go ahead and just get into them very, very quickly. Again, this is events. Let's move into it here.
All
Add to.
right.
There we go. Of course, we're talking about Z-Days. Z-Days is happening in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, May 18th through the 21st. Quick point, our last episode had a really good interview with their organizer, Brian Settle. If you are interested in learning more about Z-Days, check out our last episode. That was number 46. Really, really good stuff. Tons of events and attractions happening. So a lot of them are things that you don't really see very often. They've got competitive golf, tennis golf. They have a 5K that's part of this 5-day festival. So it's pretty cool. Definitely take a look if you are on the East Coast available. We are only 4 weeks away. Definitely want to give you a big push to Z-Days to register as soon as you can online. You want to go to zdays.com to register. I did take a look before the show here. There are over 15 states that have registered to attend Z-Days this year. So representatives from over 15 states are going to be at Z-Days. So definitely go to the site, see who's going, represent. A big push for them. I really wish them luck for the show. Miles, we're actually going to have a really nice goodie item ready for them at Z-Days. Nissan Nerd, we've got, I'm not going to say what it is, but we've got a goodie item planned for you guys who intend to
So
go to Z-Days
if
this
you
year.
do go to Z Days this year, you're going to get a goodie item straight from the Nissan Nerd podcast. Can't get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's
If
very
you didn't go,
specific.
too bad, so sad. All right, moving along down the pipeline, we've got the Branson Z Fest. It's coming up June 1st through June 5th. Mike, hit him with the schedule.
Not a problem.
Boom. So registration and the hotel are both open. Included with the registration, we've got dinners, car cruises, karting, car show and awards, aerial photo game night, and the drag strip night. We will actually be in attendance. The Nissan Nerd podcast, including our IT boy Ion, we will be there with our bells on. We
Yeah.
also have goodies specific to the Nissan Nerd podcast that we totally nerded out on this year. I will
Yep.
not even tell you what they are, but we absolutely love the fact that we nerded out on this item.
Yeah.
Very
No,
cool. We'll talk about it after we get there and we release it. Maybe we'll make it available to the market. I don't
I
know.
would.
Maybe.
I would. That'd be fun. Yeah. And by the way,
I think you
we.
got to go to Branson Z Fest to get it. I don't know. That's just
Oh,
how I'm rolling.
absolutely. Yeah, that and then Miles. I think it'd be a great opportunity. Let's maybe do a live show while we're out there. A lot of things happening.
Too much work.
Not
Nobody
not to
wants
put
to
that
hear
on you, but
that.
I think we should go on for at least half an hour, man. I think it'd be fun.
Nobody wants to listen to me drunk. So it's gonna be the worst. So now we will give you a live episode. It'll be great, folks. But we're super excited about the event. They're putting on a great show. Branson, Missouri, June 1st, June 5th. If you haven't already registered or you get an opportunity to go, bransonzfest.org. Check it out and go there and get your tickets today.
Go today.
Today.
Next one on the list here, as far as events, we're talking about the 4th annual Nissan Skyline Meet and Friends event. This was actually suggested to us by a fellow Nissan nerd, happening at the Princeton Airport in New Jersey, happening June 5th. 2022, yes sir. Again, their website here is Northeast Nissan Skyline Meet.com. As far as here, Spectators $20. Show and shine competition is $30. There is a judge car show $40. Kids 10 and under are free. The site here definitely gives you more information about the who the organizers are, what the plans are for the events. And they have a store, online store as well. So you can take a look. Again, if you go to Northeast, NissanSkylineMeet.com for more information. You got the
Nice.
last one? Yep.
Yeah, I do got the last one, Mike. Actually, I do. All right. So, talking about the last one, 35th Annual Z Convention, going to be in Birmingham, Alabama this year, July 25th through July 30th. Registration is now open. Hotel is now open. If you haven't already gone to check it out, you can go to zcon.org. Check out everything about it. They've got the event schedule. Mike, crack it open.
Oh, schedule. There you
Meow.
There you
We got 2
go.
track days this year: autocross, drifting, karting, and then also a car show. And then they usually throw in a social event too as well. If you
Yep.
get a chance, and that's in your neck of the woods, and you feel like making out to Birmingham, Alabama, you're more than welcome to get an opportunity to go check that out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good event. It's always a good time if it's in your neck of the woods or you feel like making the cross country travel to go check it out.
Yes, you mentioned the social night. It is at Cahaba Brewing Company. So it's at a brewery. Yeah, definitely
Can't go wrong.
can't go
Anytime it's a
wrong.
brewery, can't go wrong. Come on. But yeah, very cool. We covered a lot of events, and we do this pretty much free of charge for anybody that's out there.
You
If
get
you've
what you
got an
pay for.
event that we want
Sorry. Go ahead.
If you've got an event that you want us to kind of talk about, definitely let us know. Hit us up. This does not end for the United States. Aussie boys, UK guys, Canada guys, Mexico. You let us know. We'll put it up and we'll talk about it to the best of our abilities. And we'll give you some free advertising on it.
Yes.
But you got to let us know what's happening in your neck of the woods, big or small. We'll definitely try to talk about it or at least try to promote it on our pages. We are a community. We need to support everybody. We need to be unified. We need to come together and be unified. And we can't do that without your for your participation, so we can make that type of thing happen for you. So again, just let us know, so we can go. I did want to kind of point out something that we are missing. It's the festivals of all festivals. And Nissan, I'm talking to you if you're listening. NISMO festivals used to happen in Australia, used to happen in the UK, or used to happen in Japan. Festival in Australia, festival in Japan. It's been 2 years, Nissan. 2 years. It's one of the best festivals that could ever happen for Nissan. You haven't given it to us in 2 years. I'm just saying, homies.
Yeah.
Nismo Festival.
Nismo Festival.
If you could please start doing that crap again. COVID's over for the most part.
It's true.
You know, if you need to financially make it happen, cut the door prizes. Don't give out any water. We'll bring our own. Just bring out the cars. If you need to borrow gas, we'll bring gas so you can line up those GTRs and get them out there. You know, you need to get those JGC cars. Make it happen, homies. The Nismo Festival is one of the best events, at least in pictures, that I've ever witnessed. So I think it's a huge sadness with huge sadness that the Nismo Festival isn't out there. So if anybody is out there,
and just
talk to your congressman, talk to your write to your congressman. We need to get the Nismo Festival kind of going again, because that is truly the best spectacle of Nissan historic and library vehicles that is out every year. It doesn't get any better than that.
So. The Nismo Festival in Japan, that's the one that's out at Fuji Speedway?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, they usually have it at Fuji, and then Australia, I'm not sure where they have it, but it's equally badass.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a hot minute since I've seen that happen. And they used to give away like a ridiculous amount of parts or sell them. I don't know what was happening, but it was enough to get me excited to want to go to Australia, just to go to the Nismo festival that was happening in Australia. But then again, that was when they were racing the V8s, and it was all exciting. It's hard to say what's going to happen, these days. So I don't know.
Right, right.
But
Mm,
one of these days, I'll just take one. If you can make one Nismo festival, that's a year. Just make that happen.
yeah.
So
Great time to do it. I mean, you've got a brand new a brand new Z to show off. Bring one of
yeah.
those Super GT. I see what you're doing.
Okay. So anyway, moving on with our lives.
Yes.
That's everything that I've got for events. I
Yep.
feel like we've given these people everything they could use. All their money's worth, and it's
Yeah.
free. So I feel like they got their money's
I
worth.
think I think they've
Yeah,
been tortured enough. Yeah, we can go ahead and wrap this one up here.
yeah.
So.
Let's do it. We're going into 2 hours. So
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Let's wrap this up
let's wrap
again.
it.
What we normally like to do at the end here, guys, again, is thank you for being with us. Now we are on a variety of social media channels. We have the Facebook, the Instagram. We are on YouTube. You can actually watch past episodes just like this. They are on YouTube for your disposal. Just type in Nissan Nerd Podcast, and you'll find us. I believe the majority of our shows, ever since we started doing live stream shows, they should be on YouTube. It's well over a year's worth. That's easily 20, 25
Yeah.
episodes.
So,
They
and
are online.
honestly, it's 2 hours, folks. All right. So what you do is you go to garage, you put us on in the background. We're kind of like white noise,
Yeah.
in a garage, and just put us on, and we will lull you through through that clutch job that you have to do, through that brake job. Those
Yeah, yeah.
calming waves, calming waves. So, but yeah, thanks again for all the support. Thanks again
Yes.
for all the love. As we continue to get cool stuff, we will obviously let you know. And by the
Yeah.
way, subscribe, share us, tell your
Yeah.
friends, tell
Tell
your
your
mothers.
friends. Yeah. Tell,
But
hey,
we're over
well,
here busting our asses for you. And the least you could do
don't,
is share it with your friends. All
as I
right,
say,
that's it.
we're doing it. We're doing it for the love of, for all you
Do it
guys.
for you.
Let's
All
do it.
right.
We do it for you.
I learned it from watching you, Dad. All right. Anyway, you guys have a good time. Yeah,
Ah,
I'm two
yeah.
beers deep,
Nah, no problem.
and
No problem.
yeah. All right, hurry up.
Wrapping up again, you can
Wrap it
contact
up.
us through any social media. You can also find our email info@nissannerd.com. Number of ways for you to contact us. Feel free. Don't be afraid. We won't hurt you. So, I actually want to give a shout out. We do want to give a shout out here. In the last couple of weeks, we've had some people contact us with some very kind words.
Hold on. Is this
Yeah,
feedback?
it was
'Cause I can't
positive
handle
feedback. It was
can't
positive
handle
feedback.
negative feedback.
Well, you mentioned,
Can't
or
handle negative.
I know you're so sensitive, aren't you, Miles? Yeah, I did. From Zachary
Yeah.
Roberts, he had shared that, yeah, just like you mentioned, Miles, he was in his garage working on the hatch on his car and listening to us along the way. Very, very cool. Definitely want to
He got
encourage
trapped
more
in the
people.
hatch, listened to us on repeat for 16 hours until his family came home and released him from the hatch.
you know, you'll be surprised how resilient you can be from torture like that, right? Now,
I can't wait till we're walking somewhere, and I think I'll have completed, the universe in full circle when somebody's
mhm.
holding up one of those signs that Nissan Nerd Podcast saved my life. Just I know it's completely
It,
BS,
it's gonna
but
be, yeah.
that will make my day. That
That's
would
gonna be
make
your retirement party where you have that tear and you can't make the
That's it.
speech.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
That's it for the
yeah.
homies. And just like that, I'm out.
Boom.
But that would
I,
make me laugh. If you
I,
want to make me laugh, that would make me laugh.
that'd
All
be the
right.
one.
So that'd be the
So,
one that would make me. But kudos
last.
to him. Yeah. But
Oh, for sure.
thank you for listening. Thank you for everybody that's listening. Truly, it's me and Mike. Ion doesn't do anything besides fix our computers. And quite honestly, it's me and Mike carrying like 99.9% of the work. I'm just joking. Ion's a very integral part. We couldn't do half the stuff without Ion, and he's like the uber nerd. A big shout out to Ion for all his hard work that he does, and then for all of you that contribute. There is a lot of people that come on here and contribute,
Mhm.
and I want to say thank you. This show would not be anything without you. Thank you for your support.
Mhm.
Thank you for feeding us all the information that we need to do this show.
Yep.
And again, continue to subscribe. Come on with us. Just have a good time and give us feedback. We love it. So we really do.
Absolutely. One more shout out here for Brad McDonald. He was a part of this show. Thank you for being here all the way from Adelaide, Australia. Again, he did have some very nice. He said he listened to our podcast with Brian Settle. He said we were getting into the Joe Rogan range in terms of
Yeah,
length.
we are. We definitely. Hey, by the way, Brad, I would never admit this on any other show, but I do love the RX-7s as well. I saw the taillights in the RX-7s. They're pretty badass. All right, moving on. Yeah, Joshua said, he goes, I watched the Nissan Nerd podcast and all I got was this shitty t-shirt. Yes, you as well. So, yeah.
All right.
Well, we appreciate the feedback, guys.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
That
Daddy's
is
just got
everything.
one finger left.
Yep.
Let's do this.
Let's go for it. All right, guys. Again, thank you for being with us. Whatever you do have left, let's go ahead and give out a kanpai.
Chug it.
There we
chug
go.
it.
Chug. Clink. Ah.
Kampai. Fool. That never gets old. Ogre with the nerd from the original Nerds back in the 80s never gets freaking old, dude.
Never
I
gets
absolutely
old.
Love it.
I have an idea, Miles. I want to. We were messing around with this the other day.
Your
This is gonna be
ideas.
this is
All
gonna
right,
be the
brothers.
outro. This is gonna be the outro here. Check us out. Ready? I'm gonna lay down a beat,
Oh,
and then
shit.
you gotta lay down the
Drop the
audio
beat.
clips. You gotta lay down the audio clips.
Oh, shit. The ones and twos. All right, son.
I laid it down.
Hold on. I got you.
The anticipation.
Come on. Drop that
Come on.
beat. Can't be all bridge. Let's go. Come on.
I'm waiting for it. Wait for the drop.
It's like 16 minutes of bridge. Come on. The acid hasn't even kicked in yet. Let's go.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna pull what I did from Denver.
Oh, I think I'm peeking. All right.
Check out the big brain.
Ah!
Done. Kill it.
I
Go
thought
home.
you'd have fun. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you again in a couple weeks.
Go home. Bye.
Bye.